What's up, everybody? This is Tessa.
And this is Tricia.
Welcome back to Strong Female Lead.
Strong Female Lead, guys. It's us. We're here.
And this week we're bringing you our very first TV show, Weeds.
Mm-hmm. Starring the formidable Mary Louise Parker, who I love and adore. And we'll be focusing on the first season of Weeds.
Yes.
Just the first season. It has many seasons.
Yeah, but this is laying the groundwork for everything you would need to know in order to start the series, which is available on Netflix, so you should be watching this. If you haven't watched it, pause this podcast. Go and watch it.
Do it right now.
Come back to this podcast.
Actually, we'll wait.
Yeah.
Go.
Go now.
Have you watched it?
It's great, right?
What'd you think? Oh, God. Okay, so what do we do here in Strong Female Lead?
Yeah, Strong Female Lead, we talk about the fantastic or less than fantastic leads, female leads in TVs and in movies. Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, so we're going to start with the first episode of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And really, guys, just see where the hell this takes us.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot going on. Hillary is lying down, getting ready to relax on this, but she's lying down on a bench, and I feel badly about that. But not so bad that I'm going to change it. So, all right. So, Weeds is about Nancy Botwin. This is Nancy Botwin's story. This is Nancy Botwin's world, and everyone else is just living in it.
Featured players.
She is, she's recently widowed. Her husband, Judah, who's played by, who is that incredibly attractive?
I always think of him as
name?
Denny from
Grey's Anatomy. He's gorgeous.
Super.
Unfortunately, we only see 5-minute clips of him, one of them being a home sex video, which is kind of funny in season 1. I love that she's watching it and crying. And I also felt sort of touched, even though I was like, are you a little nervous that your kids are going to find that? Because they're currently looking for videos of their father as well.
I was like, that was like one of the, I don't want to say heartwarming, but like,
it was
real moments for Nancy. But I'm just like, okay, she is, because curiously, it doesn't really, like, or she's just not processing any emotion when it comes to her deceased husband when we meet her. So it's like episode 5 when we get the 6 tape, and I was like, oh, so you do miss him.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes
you seem more inconvenienced than you miss him.
So that brings us to how episode 1 goes, because she does, the focus of Nancy when the show starts is basically what she's going to do to keep up the pretty wealthy lifestyle. I see like upper middle class in some plot summaries, and I think it's a little bit above that, but she wants to keep up her lifestyle. She decides that there's no other way to do this, and she starts dealing weed in her suburb of Agrestic, which is a fictional suburb in Los Angeles. And we don't see anything really about her life before. We see some clips, but we don't really know what she did. I think she was a housewife and mother is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But we don't see her really processing anything about Judah's death, and I think it could be read as, or interpreted as, her type of personality, which seems to be disordered a bit in terms of like scale of empathy. But then also maybe it's survival instinct in a way. So I don't know what we're supposed to be thinking here, if her main focus is her kids, but we do learn about her selfish tendencies, so I'm not always sure that the motivation is for her kids, even though I think she loves them. But that's the beginning. So Nancy is dealing weed in her suburb to make money and keep the house and keep sending her kids to private schools. So, I mean, the opening scene is at a PTA meeting. Yeah. Which just lays it out for us. Mm-hmm. And that's where we meet Celia, too.
Celia. Ugh, I cannot wait. Ugh. In another version, in another universe of my life, I am just a PTA mom, just slaying and killing PTA shit. I am a fantastic baker. Check my Instagram out. Like, I would just kill as a PTA mom. I would be so such snide comments.
Yeah, that's the beauty of her and Nancy.
Yeah,
PTA,
I love Celia.
I'm sort of like, why are you guys even in this? Because you seem to hate everybody, and they don't care about the kids. Nancy cares about her kids. Celia wants her children to die.
She doesn't want them to die.
She
just is
openly
afraid
admits
for them.
Thinking she should have had an abortion.
I think every parent thinks that. Anytime parenting becomes hard, you're like, this was a choice. That would be my thought.
You would say to yourself, I should have had an abortion.
Well, I would think it. I think it was big of her to say it out loud and like name that and claim that as a part of her identity.
You know what? It was big of her to claim that.
I just like, but seriously, like, I feel like most people say like once your kids turn into teenagers, you're like, die. Oh man. But she does ship one of them away, and I was like,
yeah,
never to be spoken of again.
Oh yeah, she never comes back to the show. And
never ever.
I don't think so. And so sometimes
That's
I wonder
hilarious.
if that's less of a plot thing and more of an actor thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because she was out, was it first episode, second episode?
I was like, oh, okay, we're just not going to talk about
Fast. Yeah, I don't even remember. I don't even think they brought her back
or...
as a different actress, which, you know, sometimes they'll do to kind of like fake us out, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We all knew. We all knew the mom was different. You can't do that.
That's true.
They have to look alike.
Exactly.
They were two black women. That was it.
That was it.
They did that on Shameless with Liam. The first version of Liam, he was a kid. He was really young, so he wasn't acting at all. And then he grew up and he started acting. He was terrible. They just brought in this new kid. I like it. I
don't even remember.
There's a blip where we're like, okay, that's clearly not the same person, but they're better actors, and it's probably the right decision to make.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's always
kids
a bad
just
choice.
know if they're not good. Like someone should tell them.
kids are terrible actors lots of
Oh,
times. It's pretty cringy. So.
Yeah. Except for that Haley Joel Osment. She's a terrific child actor. Terrific actor still.
Yeah, and I feel bad saying this because it's all about the way he looks, but he looks like he has the same face, but it's like teeny tiny in a bigger head. Take a look at him. It doesn't make sense. It looks like he walked into the Shimmer or something and came back out as his DNA warped or something. Annihilation.
Oh!
And actually, that's not really what happens to them. they die. But his face looked like it was shrunk, but his head was bigger.
He does. He looks like a man-child.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah. But I love you, Haley.
Yeah, no.
I
No, we'll have you on.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. I don't care if this is strong female lead. You'll be the only man that we have come on this. We're not gonna say no. Okay, so opening scene, PTA meeting.
Oh, wait, do you know him? Just to check.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't know him.
Oh, cool.
No, he's not on my list.
Your Rolodex.
Yeah.
No, he's too low for Hillary.
Oh yeah.
Hillary's got like Jessica Simpson, which is A-list.
Yeah.
Chicken of the Sea. So let's see. Oh, okay. So this is where we're introduced more so to like Celia's character. Nancy, we're not really getting the dark side of Nancy yet, but just that the women are like, oh, you know, it has a very Big Little Lies feel. Oh, if my husband died, she must be getting Botox. Look at her purse. All this bullshit. And then Celia, who wants diet soda to be available for the children, the 11-year-olds that are dieting. So we definitely know the way she's thinking in the very beginning.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, your delivery is off, but sugary drinks are bad for children.
Yeah, but diet soda, was it not known in 2005? But diet soda is not any better.
But the problem was sugary stuff.
But there's sugar in it. Like different fake sugar.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't drink diet soda. I think if you're just going to drink soda, then just go ahead and sign up for that cancer. Like, it's fine. None of us are escaping it anyway.
So we meet, right, we're all, guys, actually, we're just going to end this podcast with a simple message. We're all going to die.
The more you know.
Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so PTA meeting. Then we're getting the exposition here, and it is strong, as it always is in a pilot. They're tossing a lot of shit at us.
Yeah.
Then we go to Helia's house.
Yes.
I love Helia. Helia is the distributor for Nancy. And we only ever, maybe in later seasons we see more, but typically it's just the kitchen. It's the kitchen where everything's going on. I liked that, actually. It was like almost comforting. Helia's always at the kitchen and she's always getting her work done. And she's telling Nancy what's what and pushing her kids around, and her nephew Conrad, who's gorgeous.
What's up, Romney?
Yeah, Romney. And so what do you think about the family and the introduction of Helia and Conrad and the daughter?
I mean, to be completely honest, I hated it.
You didn't feel a sense of comfort
I did
in their
nothing
kitchen?
About that comforting me. I was like, this is just kind of the beginning of the stereotypes, and I was like, where are they from? Why does she have this accent? Why is there, like, very much in, like, suburban San Diego or, like, suburban LA? I didn't understand her accent.
They're not, right? They're in, what's the area? Oh, I'm trying to remember where Helia lives, but she's not in the suburbs.
But she's not in another state.
No, but she's outside, definitely outside of Grestic. Nancy Botwin is going, to the city. Going to this quote-unquote city or the tougher area to go and get her pot. I mean, it's very, very stereotypical.
Yeah.
It is. But I guess what I appreciated about it, in my very privileged white female status, so I understand, they know that it's going on. Like, everyone seems aware of it, of the stereotypes and stuff, and it's written into the plot. It doesn't make it any less uncomfortable, but, like, Helia knows it, Conrad knows it. Nancy Botwin seems like the one who just starts to realize that she's privileged, which is kind of funny because she just starts to get it, like, the further she gets into the business, which is kind of crazy. But she's pretty sheltered. She was going to be a dancer. I mean, we just don't even...
I just hate it. I hate that, like, these black characters, like, again, like, my biggest problem with Nancy Botwin and Weeds is that she never has to deal with her life until it's, like, literally on her front door, whereas every other character is dealing with the things that are happening in their life, accepting the universe, and she's, like, in a bubble. She's like, oh, something bad happened to me. I guess I'll do, like, I guess I'll sell drugs. You gotta keep up appearances. You gotta do these things, whereas, like, in these, like, this black family is, like, coaching her through, and I was like, what? That's not real. You don't have, like, I don't think I've ever heard of, like, someone having that type of relationship with their distributor, like, or as many chances as she gets to fuck things up, and I'm like, okay, Nancy.
So Nancy
we're very much bending. I'm like, okay, accept the universe. Accept the universe.
you totally have to, because Nancy has 1,000 lives. Yeah. She screws over every single person in her life, and she just keeps going on and continuing to fuck people over, and like it is. Yeah. Well, it's like that the whole show through.
Yeah. And she, like, literally bats her eyes to get out of situations, and I was like, you're not that cute to be escaping the law. Like, I mean, Tricia feels differently, but I would disagree. But I'm just like, I think Nancy Botwin, that everyone has, like, consequences, but Nancy. But again, that's accepting the universe.
This is a universe in which Nancy Botwin lives a pretty consequence-free life. I mean, there are consequences eventually, but they're never as bad as they would be for anyone else, it seems.
Which is probably, like, very realistic. For her, like, for just the world in general. Like, she would have a lesser consequence for doing the exact same thing than anybody else in her universe.
Yeah. I mean, and what does Helia say to her? Like, Nancy is starting to feel pretty good about herself, you know? She's just in the very beginning. She's small scale, but she's got a little bit of a following in Agrestic, or maybe she has the Agrestic market cornered at this point. But Helia says something to her like, drugs sell themselves, biscuit, you ain't shit. And I'm like, well, that is actually kind of true, except in this universe, I don't know. It seems to be Nancy focused, like she is able to do things because she's Nancy.
Yeah.
And she later finds out that they've been selling her skank weed, and that's when she gets, she increasingly becomes more knowledgeable about the business, as you see throughout the show, and you see a little bit in season 1. I mean, it jumps the shark eventually, and we're not going to even go into those seasons. She does become part of a cartel. And that's when the universe is fucking me up. I'm having a hard time. I actually stopped watching Weeds at that point, and then went back just in the past, like, year, and started where I left off. I stopped with the Mexico thing because I couldn't even, for my love of Nancy Botwin, which I do, which I'll explain later. I hate her in a sexual way. I had to stop watching. I had to stop. Yeah. I couldn't deal with her.
Point you can't accept the universe.
Her dealing in Mexico and getting married to a leader of a cartel. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah, but
okay. Apparently, the other seasons get.
Do you remember? Have you?
I don't. I really think I started watching this at like season 3 and 4, and then it was like I would think I was high, so I was like. I don't remember a lot. I remember like the characters. Like I remember like Silas and I remember Nancy.
So guys, this episode is coming out a couple days before 420. So if you want to do a little pre-celebration, why don't you watch, you've got nothing but time. Why don't you watch season 1 of Weeds, smoke a little, and then tune into this and see how we sound.
Yeah.
And smoke while you're listening to this actually as well. So that sounds better. And it seems like it's all lining up and the universe has just come together.
And like we're talking directly to you, Stacy.
Like you're here.
Janet. Ellen.
Oh my God. I was like, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the listeners.
Oh.
These are their names. Kelsey.
Mom. I've actually just told my mom 2 episodes that she could listen to.
Yay! That's awesome.
She listened to Tangent. She listened to Marvelous Brie, Marvelous Ms. Brie, and she liked it. She said there were more F words than she would have liked, but she liked the episode, and that's a glowing review.
I'm excited. We've got fans in Ohio.
Oh, we got fans in Ohio.
Oh man.
Although my brother Brett, his review wasn't so great. Although he's not really that audience we're going for. And I don't take anything he says personally anymore because I know him very well. I asked him what he really thought because he said he listened to episode 1. He said, like if you're into that kind of thing, I guess it might be interesting. And he said, well, just think about it. Like, be like me talking with a couple of white guys about economics. And I thought to myself, the news. Awesome. Yes, I do have to listen to that sometimes, Brad. You could at least listen to my podcast. Right? All right, love you. Okay, all right, so we meet Helia, we meet Conrad. We learn that there's a lot of connections and threads with the people that we're learning in this episode. So Andy knows Conrad. That's who he would get pot from. So that's how Nancy was hooked up with them. Andy is her brother-in-law or former brother-in-law. I don't really know how that.
I think you're still brothers.
You're still brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like divorce might make you not death.
Well, she does get married again, but he's still considered brother-in-law. Well, either way, Andy.
Yeah. I guess what deletes those ties?
Magic. So Andy's that's it.
An iron will.
Pain.
I was gonna say scissors.
Nice.
Cut them out of your knife in every picture.
Cut them out like little paper dolls. I have socks on that. I don't have socks on now, but I have socks that have little paper dolls on them with a little girl cutting them, and it says, I have a dark side. Yeah, I'll show them to you later.
That's awesome.
Oh, God, it spoke to me. Okay, so, all right, so we learn about their connection, then we find out more about Judah's death. We don't really get much of it, but we learn that he had a heart attack while running with his son Shane, who... becomes increasingly scary throughout episode 1. We are kind of peppered with some of the stuff he's doing.
I loved him. This character.
I
love.
I fear him.
Why?
Because I think he would kill me.
No, not you. I'm assuming you were his mother, not just a stranger.
Me, Tricia. I think he would kill me.
Why would he target you?
I might just be in his way.
I loved his terrorist video, and I was like, this is fantastic. And I love the girl. She's like, I'm hungry. And I was like, this is gold.
You're strange, Botwin. Yeah. So we learn about, then we meet the kids.
Yeah.
We meet the kids, Silas. We meet Shane. And then we also meet Lupita, her
housekeeper. Yeah.
And Quinn, who is only in for, an episode or two and gets shipped off to Mexico, but that is Celia's daughter who is screwing Silas. You like Quinn?
Yeah, I like that she just disappeared. I love when characters are written out in that way. Just no real explanation. It's just like a couple lines of dialogue and we just never see Quinn again.
No, they thought Quinn was...
Get her out of here.
She wasn't necessary. So let's see. Okay, so then actually we meet an employee of Nancy's, and his name I think is Josh Wilson, and he is the son of another guy in the neighborhood named Doug Wilson, who's played by what's his name? O'Neill, something Neal, Kevin Nealon. Oh, Kevin Nealon. Mm-hmm. Kevin Nealon. And so Josh is his son, and he's selling weed for Nancy. And Josh is Doug's son. He's selling weed for Nancy. Doug is one of the people who buys weed from Nancy. So we're just kind of like seeing all of it. Like Nancy is really just like in the middle of this web where she gets to see all the secrets and different parts of people's lives that they're hiding from other people in their family, and she ends up knowing it all. And I sort of think that's got to be true for drug dealers, maybe in small areas.
But I also think, like, if you're a drug dealer, maybe don't sell to your friends. Like, go one town over. Like, at least have the illusion that everything isn't coming from you. Because, like, I just feel like that was such a small universe.
It was.
Yeah, and I was, okay.
And I think it was for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
And then also to show how little Nancy knows, like, going into the business. She's really not, like, at this point, Nancy doesn't even think it's dangerous. I mean, that comes to a shock. Like, she is shocked later in the season, or later, even in just a couple episodes, that this actually could be a dangerous situation. So I don't think she has any idea.
And I'm just shocked by her being shocked.
I know.
That's something about, like, an illegal activity has an element of danger. And I was like, what?
And she also has this thing where, like, she's not a dealer. Don't call me a dealer. And she has these, like, this moral code of her own, which is prevalent throughout the show, but, like, is pretty irrational and very, like, it just, I can't really... Like, usually it has to do with protecting your family in a way, even though she's always putting them in danger.
Don't sell to kids.
Don't sell to kids. 10-year-olds are too young. Which is
like, I just love that the 10-year-olds in, Agresta have money. How much money did you have when you were 10?
Maybe it's their lunch money. They're rich.
Maybe, yeah, their lunch money.
And maybe you just got a little dime bag.
But I was like, I wouldn't even know what to do with weed when I was 10.
Oh, I certainly didn't know that. So I thought that sounded pretty young. Even having known, like, people who tried stuff pretty young. That's very young. That's a child.
Yeah.
A real child. So then we see more of this dealing, and, like, at the soccer game, we have Celia and Nancy, and this is, I think, where we get introduced to Nancy's dark side a little, because I can already tell that, like, she doesn't really know what she's doing. She's just kind of throwing herself into this life just to keep this lifestyle. But then in this episode, we get peppered with, like, miniature versions of, like, what she's capable later. Like, when the boy calls Shane, the little boy playing soccer calls Shane orphan boy, which isn't true.
Not
nice and not true.
Clever. What?
He has a parent that's alive.
It is not true. But it was also not clever. And I was like, okay. Cool, kid. Back to the drawing board with these insults.
Yeah, but that was a total kid insult, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not accurate.
I always feel like the ones that don't make sense hurt a little more because, like, maybe I just didn't understand it. I was like, ow. Explain that to me?
You know what, though? I'm not going to name this person because they are a friend of mine. But someone that I knew when I was very young hurled an insult at me that was kind of similar. And I'll never forget it. I love her. She's wonderful. We were young. We got into an argument because we did, like, every other day. It's just what we did when we were younger. We spent too much time together. And she said, well, at least I have a dad. Yes, guys. Children do hurl insults like that. And when I heard that, I was like, that's actually, like, it's not far-fetched. for a kid to yell something like that, that is just like, as an adult, you couldn't even imagine saying that to someone that someone you hated. It'd be embarrassing.
Yeah, I would be embarrassed.
I'd be embarrassed to say something like that.
Yeah,
and he's not an orphan.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that I noticed. I was like, it's not true.
Okay, I don't know if I knew how families worked too intricately back then. I still don't know if orphans are. Never mind.
Well, Nancy, so the boy starts. What does Shane do? He throws something at him.
Throws a can of soda at him.
Good move.
Classic.
I actually liked that. Yeah.
I love everything that Shane does.
I liked that.
Is it Shane or Silas?
It's Shane.
Shane.
The little one, Shane. He's 10. And he, and that's why she freaks out about the 10-year-old smoking weed. But he throws a can of pop at the boy, and the boy rushes at Shane, and Nancy trips the little boy, which I get it. It's her son. Oof. I don't think I would trip a small child.
Totally trip a kid.
I think that is a glimpse into her dark side a little bit.
I loved it.
Well, then maybe you actually like Nancy Botwin. You never know.
I mean, maybe. I think I just really like Celia. I feel like that's a Celia move.
Well, this is when Celia, when we realize that she's obsessed with children's weight, because she's also obsessed with her daughter's weight, and she calls her daughter Isabelly and rubs her tummy or pats her tummy. And I'm like, oh my God, you're priming this girl up for an eating disorder.
Yeah. I didn't love that particular scene.
You weren't able to get past that part with Celia?
That was a little extra mean. But she does justify her actions when she's like, I love these mirror scenes when she's just in the bathroom, just high out of her mind. And I was like, yeah, I resonate with that.
Oh, looking at herself?
Yeah, just being high out of your mind and just being like, that's me.
And staring at yourself in the mirror?
Cool. That's me.
It is fun.
Do you do that?
It is fun to be high looking at yourself in the mirror.
Or drunk or any of it. And I'm just like, yeah. Doing shit.
Looking at myself in the mirror.
On the mirror, and I was like, I've totally done that before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's that thing that you do when you stare in the mirror? Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Stop saying it.
Have you done that?
I hope everyone who's listening is also in the dark in their bathroom. Go to your bathroom right now.
Have you done that stoned?
No.
I haven't either.
No. No, because I would think something was happening. I'm already paranoid.
Oh my God. All right, let's see. Okay, so
Isabelly.
All right, so then Doug is smoking pot in his car in the parking lot of the soccer game. His son is dealing in the same area. Everyone's kind of maneuvering around each other. And Nancy realizes that Silas and Quinn are going to have sex. So she wants to talk to Quinn, which I thought was kind of a cool move. Just kind of sitting with her, not saying, don't you can't, but kind of just talking to her about it. Like, do you think you're ready? You guys are only this age. I don't know. I thought the way she was talking to her wasn't awful. I sort of liked the approach, but then while they were doing that, they saw Josh hanging out with an older neighbor man.
It wasn't established how old Josh was, so I was very confused on why she was like, is he a teenager? Is he in high school?
I got the feeling
why
he wasn't 18. Why is this relationship
inappropriate? I
got the feeling he wasn't 18. Because then later the man yelled, when Nancy barges in, the man yelled, he told me he was 23, but that doesn't mean he's not 18. And frankly, I think it may have more to do to the fact that it was a man.
Yeah.
Rather than, it was age questionable.
Yeah.
He might have been legal, but I think Doug was homophobic. And I think him having a gay son would have freaked him out. And Nancy knew that, and so she barged in and then blackmailed
But doesn't
Josh.
that undo everything she just told to that other girl? All the goodwill that she put it forth into trying to convince that girl, oh, it's okay to have sex when you're ready.
Yeah.
And then shaming somebody else's sex. I was like, again, Nancy, you're back at zero.
She does a lot of that. Though.
Yeah.
She'll do something really good and then kind of shit on it with her own actions. She does that constantly.
Yeah.
And she also bashed his head into the window of the car.
That I thought she was surprisingly strong.
She's very strong.
She's got that dancer's body.
These are all the reasons I like her. I like her strength.
Her physical strength.
I like her strength. If you guys can't tell, I have a crush. I have a big old crush on Nancy Botwin, even though she may have a borderline personality or be a sociopath of some sort. I have a crush on her. I love her, yet I hate her, yet I want to be with her. It's all very confusing. It's all very confusing for me. In fact, I can't really untangle it right here. I need to talk to my therapist about it.
Exactly. Get Diane over here.
Oh God. Okay. So, I mean, what else is the exposition for episode
I was
1?
really waiting for Kevin Nealon's character to get angry, or like, because it was like, why hint that he's got a dark side, or he's not who you think he is, and then he's exactly who he presents himself as the entire first season,
which is Kevin Nealon in anything he's ever in.
Yeah, and I was like,
do you think it showed he had that he had a dark side?
Yeah, because she's like, well, when she was like threatening him, he's like, don't tell my dad, you don't know him, he's not who you think he is, and I was like, so who is he? And then they kind of really like dropped that thread, but I was like, oh man, I thought there was gonna be something here, but no. Unless there is in like other seasons.
I mean,
this is like on the city council, but he's like a big stoner, and I was like, oh, okay, he's got like some weird dealings with a cartel, or like he's like,
I don't remember,
in with a rival like distributor or something, and I was like, no, he's just a pot dad.
Maybe he has a temper of some sort, but I don't remember. What I do remember is in the final season, he does become a cult leader. And it's not dark. It's funny.
Oh no.
But it's still, he does have a following then.
Oh no. I think again, in a parallel universe to this one, I think I would be an excellent cult leader. Just so good at it.
I think you would too.
Yeah. You can be my first follower.
Yeah, I'm down.
Interesting.
People have tried to get me in on their shit.
Ugh. God.
Someone tried to recruit me to Landmark.
What's Landmark? Scientology adjacent?
It's like a Scientology light, like no aliens, all self-help. I went to a meeting.
What do you sell?
You don't sell anything. Self-help.
Well, I always feel like
there's a lot of
religions
MLM.
are selling something, like books or courses or
courses.
Yeah.
And the pyramid part of it is that it's all like recruitment to go to the courses. But I did end up at a meeting. Look at me not taking any responsibility for the fact that I went there on my own accord. So I went, not knowing that it was called not knowing what Landmark was.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up. It was a woman from work, maybe like 6 years ago. And we went out to dinner before, and her and I always got along really well. She wasn't in my office, but she worked in the same building. And right when I went into the main area where they were signing people in, I knew something was off because no one broke eye contact. And that really,
that's terrifying.
really threw me. So if someone was talking to you, especially the people running it, you had to be the first one to break eye contact. And I noticed that right away because I'll look at people, but then when you think or you're coming up with something, you look to the side. So unbreakable eye contact was the first thing. Then we're all sitting in a room and people went up to the podium, kind of like an AA meeting, and we're just talking about things that they got through and thanking Landmark and all this. And I wasn't quite sure, like I thought it was a self-improvement sort of thing. And I'm like, that's awesome. I love
take a
self-help.
leadership course or
I love self-help.
Yeah.
And I could use a lot of help. So I was like, okay, cool. And I felt stuck in certain areas of my life. So I was like, perfect bait. So, or perfect prey, I should say.
Wow.
Caught the bait. And then all of a sudden, she's introducing me to this group, like in front of everyone. And there's got to be like 100 people there. And she's like, oh, this is Tricia. This is, my friend I brought here. Like the new people are being introduced. And so, hi. And I did like a baby wave, hi. And then she dashed off to her own group, and the new people went into another room. And at this point, I'm just curious. I have to see this through. I cannot go. So I go into the room for the class, and there's no windows. It's very, very, like, it's all beige, an ugly room, nothing to distract you. And then we got a hard sell for, I don't know. I mean, it felt like 3 hours. It could have been like an hour and a half or something. No
Or
break.
it could have been 6 days.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You do lose time.
I may have emerged maybe a week later. No bathroom breaks, no breaks at all. And basically trying to get you to agree right there and to pay to go to their retreat. That would be like $500. And a lot of don't you think you're worth it, et cetera, very pushy. And the stuff that they were talking about, though, the themes were interesting, but it's nothing that you haven't heard before if you haven't like learned anything about psychology, or if you haven't read any self-help books. A lot of like Tony Robbins kind of stuff, like it wasn't so out there. It made sense. And if you're searching and you're kind of like a seeking type of personality, which I've always been, a little discontent, always seeking and searching, you know, I will admit here to you guys and listeners, I did have a few aha moments. And that's the scary thing that they do for you. Those moments you can get in therapy, those aha, paradigm shift. I see things a little differently. I remember getting that feeling maybe 3 times. And I walked out and I was like, actually, I don't know what I was like. I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't want to pay for a retreat like that. And I didn't want to pay for the courses, but I thought it was interesting. And then as a couple days went by, I just Googled it finally. And then I became frightened and decided, no way will I do it. But a lot of people swear by it. Lululemon has their employees go through it.
Wow.
It's kind of weird. It's pretty, like, it's...
They do have a cult-like following.
And also Neil Patrick Harris swears by it. It helps him move away from his child star status.
Why would you want to move away from that?
Exactly.
To become a good actor.
It's your bread and butter.
Yeah. We're Doogie Howser, so...
So guys, don't join cults unless it's Tessa's.
Oh yeah, it's coming soon, 2020. I have a vision.
Let us know. Is it going to be religious? Is it going to be sex? What's it going to be?
I don't know. I feel like drug-based. Really hook people.
You can do that with just sugar and keeping them up and giving them like very limited carbs and stuff, and you can really get them wild.
Yeah. I think there's something to do with like yelling, and I was interested in that. Like releasing energy through yelling, and I was like,
Or you could just have a recording like Jim Jones, just of your voice.
That's what we're doing now.
Oh, yeah. By the way, guys,
you've already been indoctrinated.
When are you going to drink? We're going to make this Kool-Aid, and we want all of you to drink it. Didn't you know we're actually planning a mass suicide? Okay, and we're moving on.
No, Silas is. Or Shane is.
Shane is. Shane would be a call leader. Okay, so we're going to wrap up episode 1, and then we are going to dive into SFLs, favorite moments, analyses of these incredibly flawed, scary, amazing women. And I don't know, maybe take a test to see if we have anything in common.
I feel like I'm going to fail.
Tessa's pretty sure she's going to fail.
I looked at the first question on the sociopath test, and it's, do you repeatedly lie or trick others into for your own gain or pleasure? Yes. All the time. Lying is my favorite thing.
So here's the thing. Is your hatred for Nancy based in your knowledge that maybe you have more in common
with Nancy
than you think? I'm just saying, you kept saying it was because you didn't like her because of these. Okay, well, let's finish episode 1.
Yeah.
So, all right. I mean, really, at the end of episode 1, we learn that, or somewhere during episode 1, we learned that Celia's husband, Dean, who's an attorney, also a pothead, as all of these, a lot of these people are. Although Celia's not and has no idea that he is, I don't think.
She very much thinks it's illegal and inappropriate.
That
is why I love her.
She's really into the clear liquor and pills.
Yeah, she likes the legal stuff.
Yeah. Quaalude.
And she,
what is a quaalude?
Oh, she gets looted up. Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
Zach, what's a quaalude?
Zach. Zach, can we get a doctor's definition of something? Sure. Okay. Dr. Zach.
Dr. Zach.
Hi. Does this make me a strong female?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Am
are.
I part
Baby,
of the,
you already
am I
are.
a part of the party now?
Yeah.
Dr. Zach was quarantined to his bedroom, but now he's out because we want to ask you, what is a quaalude?
Why do you want to know what a quaalude is?
Because people always talk
What
about
ideas
them.
do you have?
Because Celia likes them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so does Bill Cosby, so I was always curious.
Yeah. So they are like CNS depressants. So they're basically kind of act like Valium, where they make you really tired, but they also have the effect of memory loss, making them one of the more common date rape medications.
Celia, I like that you said medication. That's
Drugs.
all
I'm going to prescribe you some date rape.
You heard it all
Yeah,
fresh from the
yeah.
pod. We're getting
Right.
close.
And I work at No.
You can ask for a prescription for date rape medication, guys.
Just ask for Dr. Zach.
Am I done here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
It's been a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. So that's a quaalude.
Yeah, they are bad.
And they are wink wink, very bad. They sound awful.
Sounds like a terrible time.
And so Celia likes to take them on her own. Maybe she'd like to roofie herself as well. I did see someone do that at a party.
Roofie someone?
Roofie themselves.
That's the saddest action you could ever take in your life.
A dude. Yeah.
What about the night did he not want to roofie?
No, some people take it just as a drug.
That seems like a waste. I mean,
So anyways. Okay. Celia has this nanny cam
oh, I
that she
loved it.
puts in a teddy bear, and she spies on her kids. And so we learned in this episode that her husband was cheating with his tennis instructor. And so Quinn finds out that Celia wants to give the nanny cam to Nancy to spy on her and Silas to make sure that they don't have sex or see them having sex.
Yeah,
which is
because
the part that
can't
confuses
stop
me.
it. It's not like, you can't be like, Alexa, like turn off and on all the lights to make them know that I can see them.
You would just have to watch it and then tell your daughter, even though it's weirder.
Alexa just chimed in because you said her
Oh, I
name.
did.
What did she say?
I didn't hear everything you said. Never mind.
Okay. Jesus.
That's hilarious.
So it's just weirder that so I'm mad at you for having sex, but I know you are because I watched it on my nanny cam. Well, anyways, Quinn finds out that Celia is going to give this to Nancy. She gets pissed, so she sets up the camera, or she did it earlier. Like, I'm not quite sure if it's afterwards or
Gets
before.
blurry. And then
But it's of Dean having sex with the tennis instructor, going to, involve the tennis racket as part of the sex. And then Celia is watching the nanny cam, as she does, because she wants to see what everyone's up to in her home. And
I love the original intent for the bear was to watch the youngest daughter, Isabel, if she's getting snacks at night.
That's what it was.
And I was like, you just have this teddy bear in your cabinet, no explanation. I like that shit. I love that. This is parent trapping, and I'm into it.
You don't think it was in Isabel's room to see if she was eating the snacks in her bedroom? It was in
No,
the
they
pantry?
said cabinet, and I was
That's
like,
really funny.
"Oh, what?
Oh my
How are you never discussing the stuffed animal in the pantry? Like,
Yeah, why isn't anyone asking? Or did they all know? I mean, because Quinn seemed to know exactly what it was the whole time. And so she takes that video of her dad having sex, which is creepy, and then flicks off the camera saying, fuck you, I hate you, blah, 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 because knows Celia's going to watch it. And then Celia responds to herself, you little cunt, I should have had an abortion.
Maybe that's why she takes quaaludes. Because she's such a terrible person and she's watching her family members have sex
Is she terrible or is her family
I don't
terrible?
know.
Oh,
Look at the draw.
I think
Sounds like she might want to
Celia's-
forget about what's going on.
Seems like Celia's
Yeah.
pretty tough. So that's the first episode. We're introduced to the primary SFLs. Nancy Botwin's the main one, but Celia Hodes definitely, I mean, I think is...
Yeah, she's my SFL.
She's the antagonist
Yeah.
to Nancy Botwin, and they're basically
Do they eventually turn on
frenemies.
each other? I don't feel like
They're never really with each other. Just sometimes they help each other out, but no, they don't. I mean, they would kill the other one if they had to for some reason. Like, there's no love lost there. There's just like a connection because I think they don't connect with any other women.
Yeah.
Is what I'm guessing. Is it's sort of like a, well, you're here, okay.
Yeah, you're the least basic of my basic friends in this basic aggresta.
I think they're just a little. They don't fit the mold for the other women there. And so they gravitate towards each other, but I think they do hate each other. Yeah.
Oh, I hate such a strong word.
Yeah, but they do. They do. They're not good to each other.
I mean, yeah, I would never call them friends. / I would hope none of my friends are a Nancy Botwin or
Or a Celia.
or Celia. I guess maybe I'm the Celia of my friend group, so I couldn't have another.
Oh my god. Okay, so SFLs. Let's talk. Let's start with your Celia. Let's hear about what you think. What were some of your favorite moments? Why do you think she's a strong female lead? And according to our definition, remember?
Can we get another doctor's note?
What's a strong female lead? Top billed.
Top billed.
Own agency.
Her own agency.
Impacted by the plot or directly impacts the plot.
Correct. And I'd like to maybe introduce a fourth pillar of strong female lead. Dumb.
You can tell me.
Yeah, and it's just an impact pillar. Like, it's just for impact. Like, what do we think of this character? Like, outside of, like, if we were to extrapolate this character and put her into the real world,
What would
what would we think of her? Like, would we feel the same if we didn't have all of the circumstances surrounding Nancy? Like, do you think she could function in the real world? Real world. Like, how real is this portrayal of, like, somebody? What are your thoughts?
Oh. So you think that in order to be a strong female lead, they have to be able to function in the real world?
No, they don't have to.
We're just wondering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was like, God, a lot of them wouldn't.
No,
These universes are made up.
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
I'm just like, I like the grounded nature. I mean, of a lot of the SFLs that we've had in the past, but like some of them, I'm just like Cher, 100%.
Mhm.
I've met Cher. I know a Cher.
Mhm.
Sometimes I am Cher. Nancy, I didn't really resonate with.
You didn't?
Cecilia, loved her.
You liked her?
Loved her. I think she's super, super flawed, which I always like. I think my favorite like Cecilia moments are when she finds out she has breast cancer and then she's like giving away all of her things. I loved it. And she like finds the roller skates and like that bomber jacket, and I was like, yeah.
Oh my God. She says, hold on. The best quote. So we're doing SFL moments for all of season 1. So we just focused on episode 1 to kind of like bring up weeds and everything. And guys, I mean, we'd have to do a whole month if we were going into all of it. So the SFL moments are from season 1. I think that is an amazing moment. And she had a great quote. And a lot of these notes I have are just quotes. She said, like, I used to be hot back then. I could get fucked up against a wall with my skates on and come in a second.
I love that.
Girl.
Love that shit.
Girl. And that jacket, and I think it said
She
Pink
was
Lady
so
on the
cute.
back.
Yeah. And I was like, that's cute. And I love that, like, you know, when she finds out she has cancer, she becomes a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And her daughter Isabel says that, or something to the same effect. She's like, oh, I wish you must be feeling better because you're a bad person again. And I was like, ooh.
She quickly bounces back.
Yeah.
And seems to forget all of those, you know, just that feeling of being able to do things over and kind of that softer part of her personality. Because she even, you know, we get introduced to her mom in the hospital, and then her mom goes home with them, and we see really why Celia is the way that she is. I mean, her mom used to do weigh-ins with her, and she's doing the same thing to her daughter, but you can tell that she is so resentful towards her mother. And it was really touching. And I hope not all of our SFL moments for Celia are the touching ones, but it was really touching when she stood up to the mom, said, I don't want you to work out your like psychotic bullshit here in my house, and her mom leaves to go on a brisk walk, and then they lock her out.
Yeah.
And that's when, you know, after she's found out that Dean has slept with someone else, at this point, I'm not positive if Dean knows that she slept with Conrad, who is Helia's nephew. Okay. But they're clearly not doing well. And they all bond together.
Yeah.
And I think her daughter and her husband are very thankful seeing her stand up to her mother like that. And of course, that was when she was extremely ill.
Yeah.
But that was an awesome Celia moment too.
I loved that. I loved that moment too.
She has a few more redeeming moments actually than Nancy does, which is interesting.
I thought the character journey for Celia was so much stronger than Nancy's, and I understand that like Nancy's her character arc has to carry us through 8 seasons of Weeds.
So it's slow in the beginning.
Much slower. But like this, even just in season 1, I thought like Cecilia's like, she's grown and changed and then unfortunately come back to like where she began.
Right.
But she has the capacity to change. Like she's no longer, at least she can no longer claim that she's unaware of the flaws in her relationship with her daughter. I was surprised at the end of season 1 they didn't bring the older daughter back. Because I thought, like, okay, well, she's on this, like, redemption tour, like, apologizing and trying to make amends and giving away her shit. And I thought for sure they're going to bring that oldest daughter back for some sort of resolution.
She must have really quit the show.
Yeah, she's really not. She's really
Celia just really didn't care. She's like, oh, yeah, really? She thought she might be dying, and she doesn't even bring the daughter back.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, she's going to come back and ruin the relationship with Silas and the deaf girl, who also was just, like, fantastic actress. I was like, oh, get it, girl.
Oh,
she did a really good job. Megan, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. But also I love the moment when Celia and her husband are just fighting about the house. And she's like, I've been unhappy for 14 years. And he's like, we've been married for 16 years. And then she's like, yeah, well, I was happy the first 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, that's the reality I want to live in. Like, this relationship is everything I want to see. Like, not that, I don't know. I just wasn't particularly captured by Nancy's story. I was like, yes, I want to be a part of this, I want to be a fly on the wall in this dysfunctional marriage where everyone is cheating on everyone. I would have liked to see more from Isabel, but we do get that she's a lesbian. So I was like, again,
she's a good character.
Yeah.
I liked Isabel. I thought she was really smart. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. She saw through her mom's bullshit, and she seemed to be really competent.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
I really liked her. Yeah. Oh, Celia.
All right. On to Nancy, guys. Nancy motherfucking Botwin. So I chose Weeds because I love the show. Watching it again felt a little different. Still love it.
Yeah. It definitely doesn't hold up in terms of, like, the dialogue.
I mean, but I just take it as, like, I don't expect it to. So when I watch stuff that was from 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I expect the dialogue to, like, reflect that time. Because I think we're all, So I don't look at it with the same lens.
It was, like, distractingly cringeworthy at times.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, I mean, racial stuff, homophobic slurs, like, all that stuff that was just more mainstream back then. So I expect it. And I take it, I think it's funny, like, in the context of that show. But Nancy as an SFL, I hate her. I want her in my life, but I fear what my life would be like if she were in it. I kind of want to date her. I'm really mixed and conflicted about the whole thing, but I love her so much. But I do think that she is a sociopath. And so I am going to just bring up the symptoms here, traits of a sociopath, and then I'll go into some of the SFL themes for Nancy. Okay, so to receive a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder, which is also known as being a sociopath, someone must be older than 18, Nancy is. Their behaviors must show a pattern of at least, only 3 of the following 7 traits. Jesus, I thought it was all of them.
I am
okay.
All but positive that I am a sociopath.
Number 1, doesn't respect social norms or laws. They constantly break laws or overstep social boundaries. Yes, Nancy.
Yeah.
It's the whole theme of the show. Number 2, lies, deceives others, uses false identities or nicknames, and uses others for personal gain. Always.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
And then she even does come up with, they do have false identities later. Doesn't make any long-term plans. They also often behave without thinking of consequences.
I think she's kind of making a long-term plan. I think she's looking at this as like not day-to-day business. I think she's planning out her future, which is why she's getting into like this big of an endeavor. I feel like long-term, maybe she just, if she didn't think long-term, maybe she would have just robbed a bank.
I think she's not thinking long-term only because she doesn't have an exit strategy from the game. There's no, like, I feel like most people who go into drug dealing don't think they're going to retire a drug dealer. You're probably going to die, but
there's a lack of a like sustainability.
I don't have an exit strategy in my life.
But you're also not risking your life. I mean, the podcast is pretty risque, but no one's coming after us currently.
It's definitely the riskiest thing I've ever done in my life.
I think she is planning. Well, guys, you only need a pattern of 3 of these, okay? So we're not giving her any credit for her sociopathic nature, but yeah, I think she is making a long-term-ish plan, you know, like trying to make enough money, right, to live and to take care of her family. And it's more than just a day-to-day, you know, she's coming up with a storefront for her business, and she has a bakery, and she hired an accountant, and she puts together a team at the end of season 1, you know, and she's like hiring dealers at the college, and she has this whole pyramid thing. And I think that in itself is long term, but I don't think that she thinks of consequences that often, because she seems shocked that death is a potential consequence of her new career path, which is kind of interesting. And it only hits her when there's a drive-by shooting at Helia's place.
Yeah.
And that was sort of like, I get it that you're just going to be you think you're going to be just the small suburban dealer, but then her ego kind of gets the best of her, and then she wants to be the best of the best. It's like never good enough for her right now, because you can tell even by the end of season 1, that's not about her family necessarily. Like, she's going to be making enough money for her family. She wants to be a kingpin.
It's never been about her family, in my opinion, because there's so many legal ways that she could have provided for her family. Like, she is attracted to that dangerous aspect of drug dealing, but then like also very surprised by the reality of drug dealing.
Yeah. She's bizarre. Okay, shows aggressive or aggravated behavior. Yes. She trips a small child. She shoves a teenager's head into a glass window.
Let the other kid beat up her son? I would trip that kid too.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. And even like sexually aggressive, like at the end. Yeah. With the guy who she's encroaching on his territory, and he knows Lupita through a friend of a friend, and she knows he's following her. And this was actually an SFL moment for me also. I mean, it was fucked up, but it was awesome, is when she just gets out. Well, first, she walks. Okay, we're going to bring in an SFL moment here, guys. Stay with us. She walks into the kitchen, finds out they were trying to catch a rat. Andy and Doug have destroyed her house. Peanut butter's everywhere. They're stoned, which is hilarious because I like Doug stoned. I want Doug always stoned. She sees a rat, and they've been trying to get it with the BB gun, and they were missing and shot up the whole kitchen, and she does one shot and she kills the rat. Then she's like, fucking clean up my place. I don't know if she was talking to Lupita or she was talking to Andy.
I would hope not.
I think she was talking kind of to Lupita, which made me sort of like, oh, Nancy, like, make Andy clean that shit up.
Kind of cringy.
But instead, she's like, right. But instead, she's like, Andy, I don't want to see you. Okay. Then she leaves. She's noticed that there's someone outside. She figures out who it is. It's the guy who's been leaving pennies everywhere, trying to scare her because he pennied her car, and then he's leaving pennies for her everywhere. And she drives into an alley, gets out of the car, and basically threatens him, like nose to nose.
Which makes no sense.
Throws pennies at his car, stands up to him, then fucks him on his car, then threatens to shoot his dick with a BB gun. I'm sorry. That is a moment.
It's a moment.
It's a moment. It's a moment. It's a strong female lead moment to me because she is exercising her own agency. It's not rational. She's impacting the plot of the story for sure. Because
it's not rational.
It's not rational, but this guy ends up trying to get her to work with him. Okay? And then also she's top billed. SFL moment. would she be able to do this in the real world? Would this actually happen and someone like her would survive? I think she'd probably end up killed. I don't know how this would translate outside of Agresta and outside of Weeds, according to your fourth pillar.
Yeah, and I think
But
that's
that's
what
fine.
takes me out of some stories and stories like this, where I'm just like, this is so... I'm literally telling myself over and over to accept this universe.
But what about
I'm just like,
fantasy? I mean, fantasy
well, then
stories
it's
are
like
the
all
same.
ridiculous.
Oh.
I've accepted it from the beginning, but like there's elements of this that are just like I was like really focused on their cell phones, like all the sidekicks and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I loved my sidekick and like all these flip phones and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's real.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like be like in this with her and really like try to like connect with her as a character, and then I'm like, but then she does weird reckless shit like this.
Yeah.
Like you don't just fuck random dudes. Like,
well, it's
threaten
aggressive.
them with BB guns, like, and then he was like genuinely afraid when she had the gun out. Like he's not solidly 100 pounds heavier than her. Like,
Yeah, he seemed a little too frightened of her because he could have easily just grabbed a BB gun. I mean, I don't know if that would have blown, it wouldn't have blown his dick off.
Yeah, it would have hurt.
It might not.
Yeah,
have.
I mean,
Let's try. Zach,
Dr. Snow.
or we can just see if it hurts. So that's aggressive behavior to me.
Yeah.
She doesn't consider, the next trait is doesn't consider their own safety or the safety of others. Reckless as shit. And also, she's doing this for her family. I know she wants to take care of them, but their safety is compromised by her being involved in this industry.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the second those pennies were outside her door, she knew that someone dangerous knew where she lived. And it didn't seem like to occur to her, like, maybe I'm going to get an amped up security system or something. Her idea, her first thing was, I'm going to find this dude or woman, and I'm going to... you just know Nancy, at least enough in season 1, that you know that her first thought is, oh no, I'm going to get to deal in that area. I don't care whose territory it is. And then doesn't follow up on personal or professional responsibilities, repeatedly being late to work or not paying bills on time. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got that.
Those are both things that happened in this
I've
season
got
1.
I've got the late to work thing.
Oh yeah, I'm routinely late. But they changed my hours, so you just do it long enough, and then they'll just like adapt to you.
Really lower people's expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because now when I'm on time to therapy, my therapist is basically clapping for me. And it makes me very happy. All right. So, yeah, I mean, she doesn't follow up on personal or professional responsibilities. We don't see it like a ton here. I mean, because we know she just doesn't have money, which I'm sort of like also confused. We don't get a lot of context. Like, is it just to live her lifestyle? Or is she saddled with a ton of debt? You know, like why?
Well, I see something about the kitchen being redone.
Okay. But you know, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I'm not quite sure, like this could probably be handled. And like you can get a lower interest loan.
Like you have an accountant who can use it, you know,
yeah.
It's something they can advise you on.
I think we're just not, so I mean, she does balk at personal and professional responsibilities all throughout the seasons. We don't see it as much in this because the first season is just like, she doesn't have any professional responsibilities. Mm-hmm. She's just making her way in this new industry. And then personal, well, I mean, she seems like she's there-ish for her kids, but not, like, she kind of just seems to be putting out the fires with her kids and then hugging them at the end of the day. So I'm not really sure, like, about personal responsibilities. And then doesn't feel guilt or remorse for having harmed or mistreated others. True.
Yeah.
So Nancy... other possible symptoms: being cold, using humor, intelligence, or charisma to manipulate others, having a sense of superiority, not learning from mistakes, not being able to keep positive friendships and relationships, attempting to control others by intimidating or threatening them, taking risk at the expense of themselves or others. Whoa. Then there's threatening suicide. She doesn't do that. And she doesn't seem to become addicted to anything but coffee. Somehow, which is shocking. Yeah. She drinks wine, but it doesn't really ever seem to be a problem.
Yeah.
So, okay, Nancy's a sociopath. Fine. Mm-hmm. Still love her, want her in my life. Would love for her to try and manipulate me. I might go along for a little while. Now, my SFL, like, theme for her, because I think some of her SFL moments, like, more of them come later in the later seasons. But honestly, and it's what we talked about earlier, Tessa and Hillary and I talked about, sorry guys, it was offline, you weren't included until right now. Just, she's the strong female lead because it's probably coming from a stubborn standpoint also, but she's not really asking anyone for help to support her. She's trying to do it all on her own by using and kind of manipulating and having other people help her, but not like just taking loans from people. Like, she's trying to make her own money somehow. She seems like she's sort of like a fierce, kind of like mama lion, like a protective mama lion, a little like with that mountain lion theme that was in season 1. I think she loves her kids in the way that she knows how, and she wants to protect them, but she has a warped sense of what protecting them is, because I don't think she even knows really how to protect herself. So I don't really think she can translate that into like a safe situation for her kids. She's putting herself, which is, I think, kind of goes to her sickness and her personality, which isn't an excuse. Yeah. And she doesn't apologize. She doesn't cater to people's feelings. She does what she wants to do. I think she's a strong female lead.
How many dime bags would you give this TV show?
5 out of 5. Love it.
I mean, I'm gonna give it 2 dime bags. It's a good time, but like, it's a good time. It's just like it doesn't hold up. I think like as a character,
why does it have to hold up?
Well, aren't we like recommending if people should watch it or?
Sure, but like if something is, I mean, I don't know. I guess we just look at it differently. Like, I don't think it has to hold up in certain cultural ways. Like, I'm
assuming that if people haven't already watched season 1 of Weeds, should they watch it? Okay. And I would say 2 out of 5. As a character study, I mean, Nancy Botwin is very interesting. She is 100% a sociopath, and the way she interacts in her world is entertaining. But for someone who hadn't previously seen season 1 of Weeds, like, am I missing out? No, I think some of the jokes are really funny. I mean, I loved, just looking back at like my time in high school, like when I was in, like, this is like 2005. So yeah, I was in high school when this was happening. So it's nice to walk down memory lane in that way and like see them like on AIM and like the cell phones and like sneaking out of the house and
God, I was 23.
Again.
Hasn't changed.
Full adult.
Yeah, which is just probably also why I don't really resonate with Nancy, because I'm like, it was hard for me to accept this universe because it's like one degree away from like the real world, and she's doing such reckless things all the time with no consequence, and I'm like, okay, oh yeah, we're gonna do that too. Okay, we're gonna do that too. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna fuck him, and then okay.
and she gets like further and further up the ladder doing this stuff. But that's the kind of person who's going to make that happen. You have to be like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why supposedly, I don't know who's testing these people, but supposedly a lot of, CEOs and politicians all have sociopathic tendencies, because like the traits needed to be able to move up in that way typically have to involve a lack of empathy for others, unfortunately, unless you're Oprah, who seems to be ethical all the time to me, and she's like the most powerful woman in the world to me.
I would say even Oprah lacks a degree of empathy, like,
what?
In order to amass that type of wealth and just sit on it, like.
She gives away so much.
Yeah, but
she's got billions. She's giving away
cars. Billions. She's got more money than she would ever spend in her life.
Doesn't she? She's building schools.
It's still. It's not even. That's just the tax write-off. Like that's not even touching her personal wealth. Like,
so maybe Oprah's a sociopath.
Then
we can't have her on here. Thanks, Oprah. Oprah is going to be our guest.
Guys, we're really sorry.
Oh my God.
Get her on the line.
So I would give it 5 out of 5 dime bags, but honestly, I think it's worth more than that. I would give it 5 out of 5 dab hits. I'm just saying. Have you ever tried dabs?
No. Mm-mm.
Have you ever tried dabs?
No, I haven't. I know what it is.
It's awesome. And I mean, I heard it's awesome. Like from a long time ago, and it kind of involves like some sort of bong thing.
There's a butane torch, and you put wax in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a wax.
So it's intimidating, uncomfortable, Not illegal,
Depending on where you are.
depending on where you live. Yeah, I'd give it 5 out of 5 dab hits. I loved it. I mean,
But how much is that as nostalgia?
same thing as your Donald Faison. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's one of those things where watching it the second time wasn't as enjoyable as the first time.
Mhm.
It wasn't objectively as enjoyable. And this time, I mean, she didn't speak to me as much. I started thinking, well, maybe she gets more developed in season 2. I don't remember.
She probably does.
You know, and but I mean, I'm seeing it through the way that I saw it then.
Mhm.
And it's kind of impossible to shake that, though, to an extent.
Yeah. Which is why I mean,
Yeah.
I admit that my view of this is biased, having only seen it in 2019.
You didn't see it before. I thought you did.
I've seen like seasons,
Okay.
but like,
Okay.
and then I was like, oh yeah, this is a cool show. Like,
Mhm.
she's a mom, she's selling drugs, but I'm like, I don't really remember it. I'm pretty sure that I was high when I was watching it originally, and just thinking like, I don't remember. Like, I remember the characters, and I know
Mhm.
Nancy, but the details of the episodes, like,
Yeah, I kind of forgot also. Well, guys, let us know what you think about Weeds and Nancy Botwin and Celia Hodes.
I feel like TV can be a little different because I feel like you definitely have a B storyline that like takes you through.
Mhm.
So I guess Celia 2 out of 3. SFL check marks.
Yeah, she's not top billed. You don't think of Weeds and think of Celia, but her storyline was so strong.
Yeah.
That, like I wanna include her. But let us know what you guys think, and thanks for listening.
Yeah, don't forget to find us on the social media at Strong Female Pod and at SFL_Chicago on Twitter. Find us, talk to us. What did you think?
Love you. Bye.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same.
Talked about.
Yeah.
And
And we can just reveal at the end, like, you're totally a sociopath. Yeah.
All right, ready?
Which I'm positive I am. Do you guys not think you are?
I'm not sure, but let's find out. Tessa, are you superficially charming and intelligent?
100%. I am a comedian.
Wow. Okay. Number 2, do you have delusions or other signs of irrational thinking?
100%. I am a comedian.
Are you overly nervous or anxious?
No. I'm on stage a lot, so.
Are you generally reliable?
Ooh. Generally, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd say yes. I guess you guys could answer that question.
Okay.
I think you should have like a character witness. Like to call to the stand.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, like someone who might be a sociopath taking the sociopath test on their own. Like, would they tell the truth? Who knows? Do you regularly tell lies or
Yes.
say insincere things?
Lies, yes. Insincere, white lies. Is that what you mean?
I mean,
Like if someone's wearing something and they're like, "This is my favorite thing," and I'm like, "You look wonderful."
yeah, I mean, if that's your, if you,
I mean, it's both a lie and insincere. So.
Everyone kind of does that, but like, yeah, if it, just in general.
Mhm. No, lying is my favorite.
Do you feel remorse or shame?
I feel remorse, not so much shame.
Well,
I'm
it's only
pretty
yes or
convinced
no.
that I'm a great
It's
person.
only yes or no.
I'd say remorse, yes.
So I'll just put yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is your behavior antisocial for no good reason?
I'd like to be more antisocial. Can I make it goals?
No, it's yes or no.
Then no.
Okay. Do you have poor judgment and fail to learn from experience?
No, I've got great judgment.
Are you pathologically egocentric and incapable of love?
Depends on who you ask.
Yes or no? It's not how this quiz works. They don't have another.
Well, I'm going to say no. I'm totally lovable.
No, that's not the question. Are
Oh.
you not incapable of being loved, incapable of love?
Oh.
Pathologically egocentric and incapable of love.
That's a tough one. I'm just trying to think of like people that I love. I'm thinking of a burning building, and if there were people in it, who would I try and save?
Would you save anyone?
Well, my first thought was, why isn't the fire department here? Why am I charged with saving anybody? Seems like a bad. I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. Yes.
So you are egocentric and incapable of love.
Oh, no then. I'm gonna go with no.
Do you experience emotions like most other people do?
No.
Do you lack insight?
No, I'm very introspective. But that could also just be in service of my ego, so.
God damn, you have a really hard time with yes or no. It's okay, because these are pretty loaded questions. I'm just going to put no there.
Yeah.
Do you often have to fake your actions and responses to others?
Yes.
That's very funny and duly noted. Don't worry, this is all frightening. Does your partying behavior get out of hand?
No.
Do you make false suicide threats?
No.
Is your sex life impersonal, trivial, or poorly integrated? It's very interesting.
Trivial.
Yeah, just, I mean,
Unimportant?
is it just about, yeah, basically I think it's all impersonal casual sex, no emotional ties at all. I think
Oh,
that's
then
what
no.
it is.
No.
Poorly integrated.
I was like,
I
does
don't
that
know
mean
what
I...
means. Have you failed to follow a life plan?
Yes. I'm a
Alright.
comedian.
Submit. I think you may have scored better than you thought.
If I'm not a sociopath.
I'm gonna be really disappointed if you are one.
Okay, 11 out of 25. 11 out of 25. Score 8 to 15. You may have moderate to minor sociopathic tendencies. That's probably right where you want to be.
Yeah.
16 or higher, they're very careful with this on healthline.com or healthyplace.com. 16 or higher is you may exhibit strong sociopathic tendencies, and 7 and under, you may have no sociopathic tendencies. Well, Tessa, you're right in the middle there.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I feel like I won.
Good, I'm glad.
My inflated self-sense of worth.
That was fun.
Are you guys gonna take it?
No.
What?
There's no way I'm a sociopath.
No,
it's not even worth.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh.